Hey, welcome back to my channel. It's Dr. Courtney. I am a pelvic floor physical therapist, and I'm here talking about today why you should start lifting if you have prolapse and why you should stop listening to people who tell you that lifting is the enemy. Progressive strengthening with prolapse is one of the best things that you can do to actually manage your symptoms. And here's why. First, there are 3 phases of safe strength training for prolapse or a woman with prolapse. The first thing is going to be reconnecting and retraining. What do I mean by this? Okay, so if we want to strengthen the pelvic floor muscles, we need to understand how the pelvic floor muscles move. And if we don't understand how the pelvic floor muscles move, it's going to be really, really hard to understand when you're strength training how you're going to tap into that muscle group that's at the bottom of the pelvis that you can't see, you can't feel, right? So if we can understand that when we breathe correctly or utilize our core and that the pelvic floor is a part of both of those systems, your breath and your core, if you understand that when the pelvic floor is a part of those systems, if you manipulate 2 of the 3, you're going to get movement at the 3rd, right? So if we breathe and we utilize our core during a squat, for example, then we know that the pelvic floor will also move during that movement pattern. The pelvic floor moves on its own. We shouldn't think of the pelvic floor as this isolated muscle contraction that you have to voluntarily grab and connect with every single rep that you do. You shouldn't have to, because as long as you're breathing, and if you haven't watched my videos, I'm going to put the link up here so that way you can click on it to go figure out how to breathe and how to brace with your pelvic floor, then you should go watch that video. Then come back to this video and understand how when you are breathing and you're exhaling, your pelvic floor is moving right? It's moving, picking up at the same time, and you're inhaling, it's dropping down. So as you're breathing, your pelvic floor is moving. So if we can reconnect and retrain our pelvic floor with our breath and our core manipulation, then we're able to actually understand how the pelvic floor moves in a strength training program. The next thing that you need to understand is pressure management. And when you understand how the breath and the core and the pelvic floor all move together, and how when you're manipulating the movement of those things, you generate pressure or release pressure into the abdomen. And when you're lifting weights with prolapse, you need to understand pressure management. Because if you can't understand pressure management, or you can't modify or manage the pressure generated in the abdomen, you're going to put a lot more pressure down into the pelvic floor, which long-term can make your prolapse symptoms worse. But once you understand how to manage pressure effectively, and you start with low pressure exercises, and I have an entire 14-day challenge in my free academy, actually with all low pressure exercises. So if you haven't joined that, click the link below in the description and you can join the free group and go through that challenge. And with those exercises with low pressure, once you gain more stability and more understanding of low pressure management, then you can work your way up into harder exercises that require more high pressure activities, which are typically low pressure would be on one hand, dead bugs, bird dogs. High pressure would be Russian twists, sit-ups, crunches. Completely different exercises. Both actually work the core, but they work different groups of muscles by how much stability is needed in the core. Number 3 is controlling the load. Just because you can lift weights again or want to lift weights doesn't mean you have to lift heavy. And what I mean by this is you need to be able to master tempo. You need to be able to master intention when you're lifting. If you can lift 10 pounds with solid form, good breathing, good mind and muscle connection, then you can go up to 15 pounds. But if you can't even do 10 pounds with no manipulation over your tempo, your mind and muscle connection, you don't even know what you're working, I wouldn't recommend going up to 15 pounds. And I wouldn't recommend starting at 15 pounds just because you used to be able to start at 15 pounds pre-prolapse. You need to be able to manage and control the load that you use while keeping in mind, okay, is my core activated? Am I breathing correctly? Am I managing this load? Am I compensating? Am I holding my breath because the weight is too heavy? These are the things that you need to be asking yourself, because when you're lifting with intention and you're controlling the load, there is no reason that you think lifting should be the enemy to getting you better. My clients that I work with one-on-one in my coaching programs, they literally tell me, I feel better after I work out. I feel the best that I do the whole day after my exercise routine or my fitness routine or whatever we're giving them. They literally say, like, if I'm not working out, I feel worse. So that right there tells you how beneficial strength training is for the management of prolapse. And then the last thing is progression. Progression is simple. It doesn't need to be hard. It doesn't need to be complex, and it's slow. It needs to be slow. It needs to be intentional, right? Because when you increase speed and you increase the complexity of the movement pattern and increase the load too fast, you're going to lose control. And when you lose control, that leaves room for error and it leaves room for symptoms to show back up. But if you go slow, week by week, you're maybe manipulating a couple variables or maybe one variable at a time, your reps, your sets, your rest time, your load, and you're doing it all with intention, then there's no reason for symptoms to kind of creep back up or for you to feel worse afterwards. This obviously comes with time, but when you progress with intention and you start adding in speed or complex movement patterns, you're less likely to develop symptoms or fear around those things. Because you know if you go slow and you go with intention, why would you have a symptom relapse? Why would you? I'd be curious to know. Let me know below in the comments why you think that would happen. As your system adapts, that's what we're working with. We want your system to get stronger week by week. And when you add more variables and you change variables, that's when you can actually increase stress on the system so the system can adapt, so that way you continue to get stronger. And that's all we really want to do is week by week, we want to push the threshold, push the system so your symptoms get better over time. And that's what we do with our guided coaching programs. Obviously, we are taking women through rehab, through strength, through performance-based progressions, because sometimes it takes guidance. Sometimes you can't do this alone. And that's really what you want to do is hire a professional to do this. So you're not having to do it alone. You're not having to do all the guesswork and you're not having to tread water and be in fear zone the whole time. You should honestly just be showing up to the gym, doing what you need to do and leaving the gym without hesitation and without the fear. That's how it should go. And if you're somebody who's struggling with this stuff and you're struggling with progressions and you're struggling with maybe not even getting into the gym because you're so fearful of making things worse, then that's where you'd hire a professional, whether that's me, whether that's a pelvic floor PT around you, that's a strength coach, whatever that looks like. Make sure that you're putting your care into someone else's hands so they can directly help you progress into a program that essentially is only going to get you closer to your goals. Whether that's lifting, that's running, that's jumping, that's sprinting, that's doing competitions, triathlons, whatever that looks like, make sure somebody is helping you get there properly. Oftentimes we are told to just walk or just take it easy or just do Kegels, and that is simply the wrong advice. That is the worst advice. Because honestly, if we were all given that advice, which we are, wouldn't the whole world be symptom-free? Wouldn't the world just be walking around, not leaking, running and jumping and lifting and doing whatever they want to do if Kegels and walking and resting and not exercise and not lifting were the solutions? Wouldn't we all just be so amazing and just symptom free? But we're not, because those are the solutions that we're given, and those are the solutions that literally just don't work. I'm literally telling you that strength training is medicine for the pelvic floor. It is medicine for prolapse. And if you are not lifting, now's your sign. This is your sign. Take it on, because I promise you, it will be the best thing you do for yourself for the next 4 months, 6 months. Just stick to a plan. Find a plan, stick to it, and see how it helps. I guarantee you, you will be in a much better position than you are today, not doing anything, than you will be in 6 months. Strength training is so beneficial, but it has to be programmed for your body. Your body. If it's not, you're just guessing. If you're just showing up and you're literally just doing a random program that you found on YouTube or some random pelvic floor video that you got from Instagram or YouTube, or if you're just doing some random workout program that says, heal your pelvic floor in 12 weeks, all by yourself, DIY program, also probably not programmed for your body. Probably doing the most basic exercises possible that it's not pushing your specific limitations. You're working on random limitations that somebody just made a digital program for. It is not the same. I promise you, you will not get the same results from doing a program customized for you and a random Joe Schmo program off of the street. So if you've been told to stop lifting before, here's your sign that it is one of the best things that you can ever do for your body. And take it from me, because I helped over 1,000 people by this point in my time get back to lifting, get back to running and jumping and playing with their kids and doing whatever they want despite having prolapse symptoms. We've also helped women cancel their surgeries, cancel prolapse repairs because they just don't need it anymore because strength training was the solution for their body. Literally so amazing. I want to show you what's possible instead. And if this video didn't convince you enough yet, then hop on a call with me and my team. I would love to be able to chat more about one of our programs. I also would love to be able to show you more evidence on why this is so beneficial for women. We have hundreds of testimonials over this. So if you ever have any comments, questions, concerns, literally drop them in the comments below. Let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram. Send me a DM anywhere. And if you haven't already booked a call with my team, I'm going to put the link below as well so you can book a call with our team and get your questions answered and find the perfect programmed for you. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, so that way you can be in touch with any more pelvic floor content coming your way. And we will see you next time.